Welcome to the Mussar HaTorah podcast for Parshas Balak. This is a momentous episode of the podcast, marking the beginning of a new cycle for the Mussar HaTorah podcast. It was exactly 1 year ago this week that I started this journey, and I'd like to take this moment to express my hakaras hatov, my deep gratitude to you, dear listener, for spending a few minutes each week with me as we explore Mussar insights from the Parsha. If the podcast or any specific episode has inspired you in any way, I'd love to hear from you. Please feel free to leave me a comment on any of our platforms. Your feedback means the world to me. In this week's Parsha, we encounter Bilam's nevuah about Amalek, where he declares, Rashis Goyim Amalek. Amalek is the first among nations. Targum Onkelos translates this phrase with a crucial insight. Amalek was the first to battle against Bnei Yisrael. The Sefer HaChinuch in Mitzvah 603, which I believe is... let's just go with number 603, explains that when Bnei Yisrael left Egypt, everyone was afraid to attack them. They had witnessed miracles, the plagues, and the splitting of the Yam Suf. Yet Amalek, with their fundamentally corrupt nature, decided to be the first to attack. As a result, they removed the fear of Hashem and of Bnei Yisrael from all of the other nations. Chazal gives us a powerful parable to illustrate this. It's like a bath of scalding water that was too hot for anyone to enter. One person jumped in despite getting severely burned, and his action cooled the water for everyone else. Amalek's attack didn't defeat the Jewish people, but it broke the psychological barrier that protected them up until this point. Rabbi Yehoshua Portowitz explains that the essential nature of Amalek is that of a mocker, a letz. In the 5th chapter of his masterwork, Mesilat Yesharim, Rav Moshe Luzzatto provides a striking metaphor for how mockery operates. He compares a mocker to a shield smeared with oil. When arrows are shot at such a shield, they simply slide off instead of penetrating. The arrows, explains the Ramchal, represent rebuke and moral instruction that should penetrate our hearts and change our behavior. However, mockery acts like that oiled shield. It causes the rebuke to slide harmlessly off, leaving the person unchanged and unaffected. This is Amalek's spiritual weapon. Not just physical violence, but the ability to make sacred things seem trivial, important matters appear silly, and profound truths to look ridiculous. The Torah tells us that Amalek attacked Bnei Yisrael at a place called Refidim. Chazal reveal that this name hints at the spiritual state of the journey of the Jewish people were at that moment. They had loosened their hand, rafu yedehem, from Torah and mitzvos. Rav Hutner makes a crucial distinction here. Chazal doesn't say they had completely ceased learning Torah. Rather, they had become lax in their learning. They were no longer putting in the full effort and involvement that Torah study requires for complete understanding. What they had done was loosen their grip on active engagement with Torah because they had lost sight of its supreme importance and greatness. This lackadaisical attitude toward Torah study reflected a diminished recognition of Torah's true value. This was precisely the opening that Amalek needed. Amalek represents the force that mocks, that takes something supremely important and makes it seem unimportant and cheap. When our learning becomes lax, it reflects this same lack of recognition of Torah's extreme importance. The Gemara in Brachos on Samach Gimel Amud Aleph teaches us something sobering. If someone is lax in Torah study, they won't be able to stand on a day of adversity. The Maharsha explains that even if such a person is still learning and performing mitzvos, if they serve Hashem in a casual, temporary way, they won't have the spiritual strength needed when facing real challenges. This connects directly to our understanding of Amalek's attack. When we approach Torah with less than full engagement, we create the very vulnerability that Amalek seeks to exploit. On Hanukkah, in the Tefillah of Al Hanisim, we say something remarkable. You delivered the mockers into the hands of those engaged in your Torah. Rav Hutner notes that the Greeks, like Amalek, were mockers who belittled sacred things. They were defeated specifically by those engaged in your Torah, the Chashmona'im. This contrast is striking and intentional. The Greeks were mockers who trivialized the holy, in direct opposition to those who were deeply engaged in Torah learning. These Torah scholars understood the supreme importance of Hashem's Torah and were willing to sacrifice their lives for it. It was in this merit, their complete dedication and engagement with Torah, that the Greeks were delivered into their hands. What does this mean for us today? The battle against Amalek isn't just an ancient historical event. It's an ongoing spiritual challenge we face every day. When we approach our Torah learning casually, when we go through the motions without full engagement, when we allow the profound to become routine, we are creating space for the Amalek within ourselves to take hold. The antidote isn't just more learning, it's engaged learning. Learning that recognizes the supreme importance of what we are studying. Learning that even involves our whole being, not just intellect. This week, let us all examine our approach to Torah and mitzvos. Are we fully engaged, or have we perhaps loosened our hand in some areas? Are we treating sacred matters with the reverence they deserve, or have we allowed them to become casual routine? The lesson of Amalek in Parshas Balak reminds us that spiritual complacency creates vulnerability. It also shows the path to strength, complete engagement with Torah, recognizing its supreme value and serving Hashem with our full attention and dedication. As we complete this first year of the Mussar HaTorah podcast and begin anew, may we all merit to deepen our engagement with Torah and strengthen our recognition of its profound importance in our lives. Thank you for joining me in this journey. Until next time, may we all continue to grow in our understanding and practice of Torah and mitzvos. Have a good Shabbos.